like 4 years ago. Did you know?
The movie?
Yes.
Has it been that
Oh,
long?
It really has been, dude.
I
It's
thought
been
it was
so
longer
bad.
than that.
Yeah,
If you
man.
okay, so I got into this horrible fucking thing of like earworm songs
Oh no.
um
Okay.
for a secret project which I'm working on,
Mm-hmm.
which is gonna fuck with people's lives. Speaking of which, Nimp, what is your go-to earworm song? Let me just get a pen and my post-it notes. Right here.
Uh, my new one, my very, very recent one, is that damn dog song from Final Fantasy Rebirth, which is kind of awesome.
Oh yeah.
Dog song, Final Fantasy Rebirth.
If you
Anything
want
else?
if you want a good video game one, don't forget the original Final Fantasy VII's Gold Saucer theme. And that's like
Seven
literally it for
Gold
17
Saucer.
minutes.
Okay, thank you very much. You are
I
not
always-
doing evil plans with me, I swear. This is not something
feel-
that is going to affect you guys in any way,
don't
shape, or
ever-
form.
I don't ever have anything that lasts for a while because I always break it so that it stops being an earworm, but it's
Yeah.
always like the
Yeah.
most random music that I don't like. I know that there was one for Taylor Swift for a while ago.
Mhm.
I don't have any issues with her music. It's just not, whatever. I can listen to it and it's fine, but
Yeah.
there was one that I just could not get out of my head. And then there was like one a couple of years ago from this woman. I think she was British, and I think the song was called Bulletproof. Could
Yes.
not get that fucking song out of my
Yeah,
head. for the
who
longest
sings that? LaRue sings that.
time.
Bulletproof.
Okay.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good earworm.
Yeah.
It would just be like randomly I would be working, all of a sudden I just hear Bulletproof. I'm like, motherfucker.
No! Damn you, LaRue.
So, mine are all the usual expected ones.
Uh-huh.
But the one that constantly gets me every time is the stupid. What's that free-to-play game from China? Breath of the Wild, like
Genshin
thing.
Impact.
Yeah.
Thank you. It is the Genshin Impact TikTok meme that happened.
Oh, is it with the lady, the woman in red with the gun?
Yes,
Yes.
doing the dancing
No, that's
to
actually,
the.
I think that's actually Honkai Star Rail, made by the same company. But
Yeah,
yes,
it's basically
that
the same
opening,
thing.
That character theme
Yes.
for the yep, that got me a
That's
couple
singing
times.
the doot doots and then the music fades in
Yeah.
over it. Yeah, that
And then
gets me
she's
every single
she's
time.
talking in tune with the music. Yeah, no, that also got me. I forgot about that already.
So, Moon, I do have two for you. I think you should write down
Okay.
LaRue's Bulletproof. That one. That's going to be in my head for the rest of the day until I hear it. The other one is Sister Christian by Night Ranger. That's the one that no one knows the name for, but the chorus is that Motorin, what's your price for flight? And as soon as I hear that, I'm like, nope, that's in my head for like another week.
Okay. Yeah,
No,
I
also-
went down this horrible rabbit hole where
Mhm.
I ended up just listening to like that stupid doo music from that TikTok phase particular. That got in my head so hard. Like I
Mhm.
cannot explain to you like
Was it like one of those that
I-
every time that started changing your algorithm so the video showed up more and you're like, well, I guess I'm watching this for the next 3 hours.
Right.
well that's the scariest part is I don't even need to like hear it. All I need to do is think of it. And then
It
it's
just
there, and
forms
it's
in your
gone.
brain.
Exactly.
I just did it right now
Well-
with Riders of the Storm. But that one's like
yeah.
such a chill song that it's like,
Yeah.
nah, I'll just let that one ride out. That's fine.
I'll just enjoy this one, yeah.
So the whole thing that this came from was part of that. I ended up googling a YouTube playlist of the most catchiest / earwormy songs.
Mm-hmm.
I had never heard of Diggy Diggy Hole before. Now I can't get that thing out of my head.
I don't know that one, thankfully.
You don't want it in your head.
Yep.
It is
I'm good.
100% should not be there. It's good. You don't need to look it up. You don't need to Google it. You don't need to do anything.
Yep.
But the reason what occurred to me was Fall Out Boy did the remix of We Didn't Start the Fire.
Oh, God.
With
Yeah, unfortunately they did.
All of modern day things rather than the things that are referenced in the original songs.
Yeah.
And if you listen to that song, it makes references to things that happened like 8 years ago, and you're like, wait, when was that?
Right.
Surely that was like last year.
Right.
This song has been out for more than a year. Why are they referencing something in the future? And it's like, no, that happened a long time ago. A long time ago.
Oh.
I was like, oh no, like this is really, really bad.
Now that you mentioned Diggy Diggy Hole, that reminded me of Blue by Eiffel 65. That's it. You have to put that 100%. On your list, because not only is it gonna get stuck in your head, it's super annoying. But I kind of like it, but I kind of hate it at the same time. And now I have a second.
So my evil plans will come to fruition when you all get like a surreptitious note saying, hey, do me a favor, don't listen to these files, but install them in this particular folder, please. Thank you very much. You might know where I'm going with this based on what I've just said.
I feel like my first thought was like, oh, we're gonna have a spicy season of critical misses, and you just saying that is like, okay, now I know the true inescapable torture that you're gonna inflict upon your friends.
Yes. And I have something for everybody. That's where the beauty of this all comes from, is everybody has their own particular ones.
You are crafting someone's perfect layer of hell.
Yeah. 100%.
And putting that in another thing.
Yeah, and then that could be shared with everybody. Because the best part is, I know for a fact that everybody's one will have crossover with other people too.
Yeah, so I know 2 or 3 people are going to be like, oh, come on.
And the one that inspired this is one that I know will get everybody. Everybody will be got by it, and I know they will. But particular, it's just for one person, because I know they won't be able to help themselves. And then a second person who will also not be able to help themselves, but it will get everybody, and I know it will get everybody. And that is the beauty of the nightmare that I am doing.
I love it. I love crafting psychic damage. Oh, man. All right. Are you guys ready to get started?
Yes.
Sure, I guess.
Now that I have another thing to look forward to.
There you go. All right. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Hi.
And happily returning, the Nymph.
Hello.
Well, happily.
He's back.
Come on. I'm just tired.
That's right.
There we go.
Physically here, the Nymph.
Yeah, I showed up.
That's right.
Just to let everybody know I didn't leave. I'm not going anywhere.
That's right. That way I won't get fined.
Yeah.
The commissioner can't yell at me. All right, let's put a quick plug here for patreon.com/E1M1.
Ones and numbers.
I can speak today. This episode is going to go great. I can't type. I can't use a mouse. I can't speak. This is great. What else is great is all the fantastic content we have over there on the Patreon page. The $5 tier is a recommended one. That's why we call it fun for $5 over there. That gets you everything, including the really good Outcast every week, but this week is a pretty great one. Got a whole list of really great stuff, like maybe having a brand new hat, having some brand new drinks, talking about shopping, a grocery store,
your friends.
Grocery store.
We went around.
Yeah, and then talking about some earworms. Share your terrible earworms. Maybe we missed one. You get early access to We Roguelike It, where Moon and I are playing too many roguelikes. You get early access to Critical Misses. Moon and I are checking out all the media hits we missed. You get early exclusive access to the Critical Misses production meeting, kind of the between season stuff where we're talking about almost every season has them, usually. Talk about what we're doing for upcoming seasons, what we're adding to our list, doing psychic damage, that sort of thing. And then you get exclusive access to Wayward Sons, which is the not Critical Misses. It's the it's the
other prong.
The Supernatural TV show Watchcast that Moon and Imp are going through and watching that. All of that can be found patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones and numbers.
All right, Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
Okay, I'm gonna quick fire most of these if I'm completely honest, because a lot of them are nothings.
Okay.
Limp, have you listened to the episode you've not been on?
I have, yes.
Okay, so you already know about my Genesis collection madness that I'm proceeding through.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I was like, oh, this is
as-
cool. And then you're like, yeah, it only takes up like, 20 mega, whatever. I almost said pixels. I am so out of it. 20 megabytes. There we go.
Yep.
Okay, so back to it we go. Hey, Boston, you remember Mean Bean Machine? Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine,
Yeah,
to give it its full title. I'm in the D's. I hate Puyo Puyo. I really don't like it.
Okay.
What's wrong with Puyo Puyo? Just the regular,
Tetris.
correct?
I like Tetris. Yes, just the regular.
Okay.
Whatever Mean Bean Machine is, I'm assuming that is the regular Puyo Puyo.
Yeah.
It's just they rebranded Puyo Puyo for the US, very much like Super Mario Brothers 2 here. It's like, all right, we're gonna take a game and we're gonna kind of like make it a little bit more friendly for the West and just put that out.
Yeah, I don't like it. I want Tetris. Give me straight lines and T-bars. Don't give me two blobs that fall.
Good news, Moon. In 30 years, Puyo Puyo Tetris will come out.
I know.
You can get both chocolate and peanut butter together.
Yes.
I can, but it's also, I don't think it's available on the Xbox right now. Or if it was, I don't even know. Because the Tetris license is one of those licenses that is a nightmare where certain companies have the rights to do it on certain platforms and do it certain ways.
I think you can still get it on the eShop, though.
I'm not playing it on my Switch, dude. That is for Nintendo.
I'm just letting you know there is an option if you really do want to check it out.
Asking me to play my
you
Switch,
love
please.
your achievements. I understand.
Yes, I do. Also, I hate them at the same time. Like, it is a very love-hate relationship I have.
Yeah.
Yes. Believe me, I'm going to get there later in this episode. Puyo Puyo is fine. It is not my preferred nomenclature of puzzles. I prefer Tetris. That is fine. That is my particular branding. What on earth is Dynamite Heady?
I mean, that's not an unfair question. To be fair,
I have a question for you, Boston. Do you know who made Dynamite Heady? Who the developers are?
Is this Treasure?
It's 100% a Treasure game.
Yeah, I mean, no one else could have made Dynamite Heady. To be fair, I mean, Treasure games are mechanically good, and
Dynamite Heady is not mechanically good. How dare you say that?
Whoa. In today's standards or back in those days standards?
So the first level is you sprinting away from a robot who you can kill, and I appreciate the fact that you can kill the robot. And then the first boss is a boss who you can only hit with diagonal attacks or jumping attacks on
Sounds
its
like
head.
A Sonic game to me.
Which is, it's not like you can jump on top of his head. This one has like directional aiming, so it's terrible. Dynamite Heady is a bad game. I do not like this game at all. Like, it is atrocious.
I have a soft spot for this game because I think it's so emblematic to me of what makes Sega games of that era cool, where it's kind of like you made something interesting that feels like maybe it's a little bit too early for the hardware or the controller or game design or aesthetics or something, and you made something neat, but it's not all the way there, and maybe won't be all the way there until like maybe you make a version for the Saturn.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm assuming that's what they did. It's so hard to control, dude. Like, it is impossibly difficult.
Yeah.
Like, that is bad. Like, let's just get that out the way first and foremost. The Dynamite Heady is not a great game. It is hot. It is impossibly difficult. And I get it. It was that time frame, whatever. I didn't have, a Steam list of 150 games that I haven't played, let alone, my Xbox with 700 games that I haven't played. Like, you had one thing at the time. I was the smart boy, and I played Nintendo games at the time. The superior product. I'm sorry, it was. Next on the list. What comes after D? It's the letter E. What game beginning with E could be on the Genesis collection? And I'll give you a clue. All cops are bad. I said bad specifically for a reason because I'm on this show. All cops are bad. It's a super slow Contra. Is that the thing I wrote down here? That seems to be like it does not move quickly. It moves slowly. Assuming you get a super RoboCop suit at some point. I don't know. I didn't make it that far in the game.
I don't remember much about eSWAT.
I remember this game now. Mm-hmm. I don't remember a lot of the games, the name of games that I played as a kid.
You'll remember it when you see it. 100%.
Yeah, it's just looking at it. It's like, yep, nope, I remember that.
I think I remember.
That's me with Shadow of the Ninja. Like when they announced that Shadow of the Ninja was getting a remaster, I was like, wait, I played that game co-op with my sister for like way too long. Right. Like I know that game.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I played eSWAT in the arcade a bunch, maybe.
It feels like that kind of game, to be honest.
Yeah, and I remember this wasn't one of my favorite Genesis games in general. I think it's fine, but like it's really it's very much of its era.
Oh yeah, like it's super duper slow. Like it feels like it was trying to get on that Contra vibe. Yeah. But like if I'm gonna play like a 2D side scrolling shooter, it's gonna be Contra, or it's gonna be the most superior game of all time, AVP. Like I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna play Mega Man?
No, dude. I have zero connection with Mega Man.
I think that's like a different. Mega Man to me is different. I think
it's a platformer first, right?
Yeah, instead of being like a shooter.
True.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But eSWAT is bad. Whatever. Boston, I have a test for you here.
Oh boy. Okay.
I want you to pull up footage for the game Fatal Labyrinth and then tell me what game it is.
Fatal Labyrinth, Sega Genesis.
As soon as I started this, I was like, wait, is this what I think it is? 100% is exactly what I thought it was.
It's a roguelike?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
It is.
This is just, hold on, this is just...
Oh, an ad?
Yes, it's an ad.
No, I have YouTube Premium or whatever. This isn't a long play. This is just a retro review. My apologies. I'm looking for a long play. There we go. Now I got one. Okay, so it's like a turn-based roguelike, like a traditional kind of grid-based roguelike.
It's rogue.
Right.
You pick up items that you don't know what they do. You have to use them to figure out what they do. You get cursed items. You get shields and swords and armor and everything else, and you take turns hitting each other. Like it's
people have probably the modern version of this is Shiren the Wanderer. If anyone plays those games, it's very much the same kind of like here's a 2D dungeon, and you're just every time you move, the enemies move. You're picking up random stuff. Let's see if you get a winning run.
It even does that uncovering the map thing when you find new like corridors and stuff. When you go into a room, it opens the room, and it's just rogue.
That's wild.
I was like,
I honestly have never heard of this game before. That's wild.
Me neither. I happened to load her up, and I was like, wait. Hold on, because it starts you off and you're in a small little box room with a corridor, one frame of a corridor coming out, and I was like, "This is this rogue?
Am I playing a roguelike? How dare they?
Am I about to play a Genesis roguelike that I didn't know existed? Like
that isn't Toe Jam and Earl? The heck?
Yeah, I was like, that comes later. I'll get to the tease eventually. Don't you worry. I was shocked because I was sitting there. It's like, it's literally just Rogue. That's all it is. It's Rogue. I'm playing Rogue.
That's wild. I'd never heard of
this
before.
Different name, but that's cool.
Kind of cool, yeah.
Probably the best thing from, maybe the second best thing from my batch of Genesis games this week. Speaking of which, next one, Boston, Flicky. Has anybody heard of this game before, and why is it so bad?
Yeah, I've heard of Flicky before. I
hate this game so much.
I feel like if you grew up in the arcade era, there was something about Flicky that really clicked with you. I have never really enjoyed Flicky at all. Like I like the idea of it, but I would much rather I had more fun playing Mr. Do in kind of this era than I did playing Flicky.
And for those of you who might be curious, you are a bird who collects birds and takes the birds to the exit while being chased by cats.
Yeah.
The reason you are called Flicky is because you can pick things up and then flick them at the cats to kill them, who will promptly respawn. It's like a more open Pac-Man, essentially, where it's just like a 2D thing that you collect things and then go to the door. It is hard to control. It's unpredictable. The jumps are horrendously bad. It's Flicky is kind of whatever.
Yeah.
Gain Ground, Boston. That's the next one.
Never
heard of this one either.
There you go. I've heard of Gain Ground before.
So this is Commandos, like a single screen Commandos is what I'm hearing. Was it Commandos? Commandos is the game I'm thinking of.
Wow.
Like it's rough.
This type of game was kind of a dime a dozen on this generation of consoles, because it was very much like, all right, you got this top down scrolling game, then you're just kind of trying to get to the other end of the screen and got a bunch of stuff in between you. Let's go. And it's like not a shmup.
Single screen version kind of thing.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I forgot about that. That's
like it's
weird.
Not the one that I used to play a lot of when I was a kid, which I think was called Commandos. Probably not. Where you got dropped off in a helicopter and you had to go all the way up the scrolling map to get to the people at the end. That's the one I think of. This is not that. This is not great, we'll say.
No,
it's
very
passable.
Basic.
It's got like a really weird original Gauntlet feel to it.
I was just about to say, like, it looks like a kind of Gauntlet ripoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Weird game.
Galaxy Force 2.
Yeah, played that.
Galaxy Force 2?
2, specifically.
Okay.
Is this trying to... I'm assuming that this game was trying to jump on the TIE Fighter and X-Wing game popularity on the PC.
What's that? Oh, God. I never remember the name of the game where it was the guy, it was huge on Genesis and the original Master System, where the guy is running...
Was it Vector? No, that was something else.
No, I know the one you're talking about. You're running across the ground and you're shooting a bunch of things. I know.
Yeah.
But everything's got like that grid look to it.
Yep, I never remember the name
it's exactly
of that
like this.
Yeah, this is what that reminds me of. Sorry for all the flashiness. I keep forgetting about these Genesis games just being like, oh yeah, you might have any issues with flashing lights? No, you don't. It's like, oh, cool, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that didn't exist when we were younger, apparently.
Yeah. This game seems...
I know the one you're talking about.
Like Star Fox before Star Fox.
Yeah.
Or maybe around this... I was going to say, did this come out before or after the Super Nintendo Star Fox?
I think this,
because maybe they were chasing after that.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe. Well, it's whatever, if I'm completely honest.
Yep.
It is a game that defaults to inverted controls, and I'm not a sicko, so I use regular controls. Thank you very much.
Invert is regular controls when you're piloting an aircraft.
No, when you're in the cockpit, it's an inverted controls. Nope. Correct. When you're from behind, it is not inverted controls.
I don't really care either
Thank
way,
you very much. I hate inverted controls. I think inverted controls are Satan incarnate.
It is, and it's very interesting when I haven't come across it so much because I don't ever go to other people's houses and play games, but like my uncle, like he was playing Grand Theft Auto 4, and I was helping him with something in that, and he was playing inverted, both left stick and right stick. And I was jacked up, I couldn't figure out what to do.
Oh my god! All right, I found which game it is. Space Harrier. I apologize.
Harrier? Okay.
I apologize to whoever was yelling at their podcast saying like, "Oh my god, it's one of the most famous Mega Drive games of all time.
It's so famous, none of us could remember the name of it anymore because we heard it so many times.
Space Harrier. Whew, I got it.
Yeah, it's also a Space Harrier also makes you think of actual, spaceships, not a dude running across the ground.
Right, exactly.
I'm sure the funny thing is, I'm sure Space Harrier is in this collection. I'm sure I'll get there when I get to the S.
That's true. We're not up to the S's yet.
Yes, exactly. Oh boy, the final Genesis game, and the reason why I said that Fatal Labyrinth is the second best game on my Genesis list this week. We got up to the G's, which means it's time for Golden Axe, baby.
All right.
I still love that music. Like, I cannot help it.
Good.
I still adore that music. It's just so good.
I have such a soft spot for the Genesis sound chip.
The sound
it's really bassy.
Literally, one of my notes here as well says, "Oh, it's still got those chiptune screams." The is so good.
That's so like the Super Nintendo sound chip is really good for a totally different reason, but I really love the Genesis soundtrack, especially when they try to do like an electric bass guitar. It sounds so cool.
Oh, I still love Golden Axe.
Golden Axe is great.
So certain games in this collection have achievements. Certain games have challenges.
I was going to ask how they did the achievements with those.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a bunch. So certain games, there's a bunch which is like, complete all of the challenges. There's like 25 across the 50-something games that are included. One of those challenges, for example, was in Mean Bean Machine. You had to get a score of 5,000 points in the middle of a game. So it just flat launches you into the middle of a level. It's like, get 5,000 points, go. I beat the person who I was against and got 5,000 points as part of the bonus. That didn't count. I needed to get it in actual solid gameplay. Which is just the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah, that sounds like an arcade machine, all right.
Yep.
And then other games like in Alex Kidd, which, oh boy, it was like win rock, paper, scissors like 50 times you had to do.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
is it in a row or just in general?
In general.
Either one is bad.
At least you don't have to chain it. Those are always the worst. Xenogears. You had to chain like 3 of those together. Just getting 3 of them was a super pain.
Yep. That was the worst.
So the bright side about the game is it does have a rewind feature. So for the Alex Kidd one, you figure out what he's going to do. You throw up the right gang sign, and then you rewind it, and then you let it play. Then you rewind it, and you let it play. And you rewind it, and let it play.
Look at that.
Clock up that 50. Especially because unlike previous Alex Kidd games, you can do rock, paper, scissors in literally the first store, which is the first building at the very first level. So
true.
It's useful in that instance. The Mean Bean Machine one was terrible. I got the Golden Axe achievement by accident. Because the Golden Axe 1 achievement is to use magic when nobody's on the screen, and it's called What Are the Controls? And literally, I loaded the game. The very first thing I did was press the wrong button and cast magic. I got the achievement. Yep. I was like, well, crap.
I love that's the enduring legacy of Golden Axe. It's like, wait, what are these buttons do? Oh, I just called up lightning. Cool. All right, well. Thanks, Golden Axe.
I still hate those big dudes with the maces. The big chunky dudes with maces. Because they do a good solid ka-thunk when they hit you as well, which is always a good sound.
Mm-hmm.
Out of curiosity, preferred character, Golden Axe 1. Are you dwarf, warrior, or lady? I don't know her class.
I was going to say, I always went dwarf because nobody else wanted to play dwarf, and I never understood why.
Why? Dwarf is my go-to as well, so we're all dwarves.
Okay, yeah. That's interesting. I never had issues with dwarf. Like, I didn't understand the hate.
Right.
And now, because we're all dwarves, you guys have to go listen to Diggy Diggy Hole, is all I'm saying.
No!
Oh, do the Frozen Ice song.
I don't know what that is, thank God.
You need to look it up.
No, I don't. I really don't. I've got enough of this.
Check out the Outcast for more details.
Yeah.
Yes. Golden Axe is a banger, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is such a good song. Such a good game.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it still plays well. It still controls in the exact same janky way that you remember, where like intuitively, just because I played too much of this game when I was a child, I was immediately at that point where I was like, oh, you're about to sprint at me. Let me just stand here, let you sprint at me, then walk upwards so you throw yourself off the edge. Like, intuitively, without even needing to, needing to, like, practice, just based off, like, my genetic memory of this game. I was just like, yeah, this is how you win.
That's
and
right.
then you, like, I was just like, oh, I remember this so much. And it's so terrible that I remember every single thing of this, but I can't remember how old I am. Like, that's tells you everything you need to know about our generation, I guess. Golden Axe is great. I love Golden Axe. I'm looking forward to my next game, which is Golden Axe 2.
There you go. I never played as much of 2 or 3 as that I did of 1.
Same with Streets of Rage. Exact same with Streets of Rage.
Right.
I played the hell out of 1 on both of them, a little bit of 2, and never really touched 3. I know Rob, the friend of the show, is about to flip his crap because I didn't play much Streets of Rage 3, which is his favorite of the bunch.
Those games got expensive, man.
Like they did. Streets of Rage was really good. It was kind of the reason to own a Genesis.
Yep.
Literally, I cannot wait till I get to that point because I'm looking forward to doing the jumpy flips, the backdrops, all of the...
Hear that incredible music?
Yeah, because Golden Axe is a foundational game for the Genesis. I don't argue that point. I think where it went in its later years was hilariously bad on so many different ways. Go check out the 360 Golden Axe game. I bet you all forgot that came out.
Wild game for so many reasons.
But whereas on the other side, it feels like Streets of Rage like took what made Golden Axe great and just evolved it so much with like the different things you could do. I remember playing that game co-op with my sister and like learning that you could throw your partner, and then if they hit the kick button at the right time, they turn that throw into a flying kick attack from the other side of the screen.
So
being like, what is this?
What's this technology?
And you could do the little backhanded punch too. You can do like a back attack if someone's sneaking up from behind.
Yeah,
Streets of Rage is like the perfection of those games, and I love the fact that while Golden Axe took whatever turn it took, Streets of Rage came back with Streets of Rage 4, which is an incredible game.
So good. I should go download that again. That game's great.
Really good. I played it on Game Pass, and I was like, this is great. And I bought it as soon as it was on sale because I was like, I cannot deny how good this is. And the fact that there's like 19 characters in that game, dude. Like every time you beat it with somebody, you get a new character, including the classic characters, which I like too because they look exactly like you remember. Chef's Kiss. So Streets of Rage 4 is an amazing game. Golden Axe is a great game. That is all for my Genesis collection. My next game is Loop Hero. I hate RNG. Go listen to this week's We Roguelike It for more on this.
Yep. Moon's playing a lot of games right now that have a lot of RNG. And in 3 different games that have 3 different types of RNG. It's great / terrible. Man.
Boston, you said you were thinking of playing it on mobile?
Yeah, I think when it comes out, this is definitely an easy checkout for me, of course, at least. Just to like, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to support the devs. Unless it's like a Netflix game, then I'll definitely check it out then. But like this seems like a really good game to like watch TV with and kind of like do something else with alongside, because it's like, all right, I got a good run going. I'm gonna do a couple of loops, equip some stuff, do another couple of loops, farm some stuff.
It's my go-to podcast game.
Yeah, you don't have to pay attention until it runs a loop almost for the most part. So
yeah, it is. Like, I'm enjoying my time with this game, but we talked about it previously. I'm at chapter 4 now, which is essentially the last boss of the game. I beat him once. I need to beat him 2 more times for an achievement, and also to unlock the last of the 2 perks that you can get for beating each boss 3 times.
Right.
Chapter 4 is the boss rush, which we talked about last week. Is impressively difficult at the best of times. So I'm literally jumping in, trying to get to that first boss as quick as I can. And the problem is I'm doing so many short loops at the moment or short runs, because like I'll get up to loop 7 or 8 and I'm still haven't even spawned the first boss because I haven't got the right cards to defend my home base against the Lich's towers.
Right.
But then by the time that happens, the Lich is a cakewalk, but then I'm not getting the next boss until loop 10. And that lady with the glasses will mess you up so quick.
That's a for real boss fight.
What class are you sticking with?
Right now, I'm mainly running Necromancer because that's the one I've been playing most recently, so the one I feel most comfortable with.
Yep.
But the problem is if you don't get like, there's 2 or 3 perks. If you don't get them early, you're done essentially, and that's the damage divided among you and your skeletons.
Yep.
You need that immediately.
100%.
And when the skeleton dies, it heals you. You need that immediately.
Oh, yep, for sure.
And then the thing that I always end up like falling short on is I need that attack speed, because your summon speed is based on your attack speed. So you need to like really build up that attack speed. So like you're trying to get as high of attack speed as you can and as many skeletons as you can, while also at the same time like not like, because you'll get like a couple of items. I know I've played this so much. I know the items that give you +1 skeletons by visual look alone. So if it's the ring, if it's the amulet, if it's the shield, if it's the grimoire, I know what they look like just by like how they appear in the thing.
Yep.
But the problem you run into is because they have +1 skeletons, a lot of their other stats are lower. So you end up having to do this like backwards and forwards of, is it worth my time to put this one on and get the +1 skeleton but lose like 20% evasion? Who knows? No, turns out it's not worth it, as my many loops have taught me. You will die.
Right.
The bright side is my home base is pretty much all upgraded now. The only thing I can do is upgrade the watchtowers more, which I need to do. And build more huts, because you build more huts, it lets you take more supply items in, and take more supply items in, it lets you do more over-the-run permanent buffs. There's an item called the Exquisite Painting or whatever that does 5% more boss damage.
Nice.
And you can stack them. So
yeah, there you go. All right, now we're talking.
I need more paintings. A lot more paintings, and I need a lot more like huts too, so I can take the paintings with me.
Right.
I don't know, Loop Hero is great. Also, I was listening to podcasts playing it. I always do. Shout out to Waypoint circa 2021 at this point to give you an idea of what I'm progressing to. I literally just hit just queued up the Game of the Year 2020 episode.
Ooh,
so
here we go. All right.
Yeah. That will get me onto my next game. One of my next games. Like I'm enjoying it, and I forgot how catchy the music is in Loop Hero, because a lot of times I'll turn it down.
Yeah.
But then I ended up with my volume up because I was like watching something while I was eating, and then started playing Loop Hero, and it's got that really solid music where it's like, okay, I'm appreciating the fact that I've got Austin Walker in my left ear and I've got Loop Hero in my right ear. Like I'm appreciating this, nice little thing I've got going on.
Right.
Also, I'm glad you picked a video with a faster combat speed this time. Thank you for that.
Yeah. I got you.
I'm really good on my nerves. I played a bit more of Little to the Left. I know Boston does not like this game because of breadcrumbs. I can't believe breadcrumbs made you quit a game, dude. Like, come on.
My kid played this game this week, and I think she was enjoying it more than I did. I feel like I will get back to this game once the frustration of that level kind of eases a little bit. Yeah.
I have played this every single day.
Okay.
For at least a month.
The
reason why I know I've played this every single day for at least a month is because there is an achievement for doing 30 consecutive daily tidies.
Oh, okay. That's fun.
Which I have got now. And that's fine, because that's literally, I've jumped in, done a quick tidy, jumped out. Now I can focus more on the actual quote-unquote story. So I'm just jumping in and doing little bits and pieces. I think I ended up doing... Sorry, I'm laughing because the video that Boston has got going on right now, the person does not know what they're supposed to do for one of the answers, which is hilarious.
Which is like the core thing of the puzzles of a little to the left is sort of like, here's a bunch of items that the game has presented you with. Go sort them.
Clean them up.
Yeah.
But like I jumped in, I did like I think I'm up to Act 5 now.
Okay.
Which is it's like more household items, so it's like drawers and cabinets and things like that.
Okay, that sounds more my speed.
I just finished the leaf season, which was all of the nature objects, that was pretty cool. The really annoying one with that is the plants. You have to make them symmetrical on both sides, and if you make a mistake, every single leaf grows back again. It's really frustrating. But that's also my own fault for not, for making a mistake.
Right.
But I don't know. It's been good to just be like, cool, I got like 10 minutes. I'm just going to fly through like 2 or 3 levels because it's not a long game. It's pretty short.
And each level can be really quick too. Yeah.
Like you could do like I blew through, I think, an entire chapter in like 45 minutes the other day. And I was like, cool, that's great. I'm fine with that. Like, let's get this show on the road.
I need to get back to it at some point because I feel like it would be the really good kind of since I'm playing a lot of RPGs right now, I feel like this might be
that's me with roguelikes. That's literally been the palate cleanser.
Yeah, it's like the balm to whatever else I'm playing. It would be kind of this. I need to find a time where it clicks with me.
Honestly, I would say just jump in and do a daily tidy. Like, see if that clicks.
Yeah,
like, just
that's
jump
a good
in,
idea.
do one. And it also gives you, like, the taste of, like, future levels that you haven't done yet. And like, cool, how do I solve this one? Because it just randomly picks from, like, the lot that you've got. And then you can just jump in, do it, take care of it. And you're like, cool, I did one. That's fine for now. And then what happens with me is I'll do the one. And then every now and again, like the other day, I'll be like, I can do a level. I think I can do a couple of levels here. And I blew through an entire chapter. And before I know it, like I've only got 2 chapters left in the game now.
Oh, nice.
So it's been a very good meditative thing for me to like try and de-stress myself to. When my handy little bird friend says, hey, get ready for bed, start to wind down your mind. I'm like, okay, a little to the left. I got you.
Yeah.
Me and you, penguin buddy.
That's right.
We call them Prinnies.
That's right. That's right.
Mine is called a finch. Thank you very much. I played Lethal Company on Friday. It was bonkers, we'll say. Did I tell the story in the show about the cursed cat?
Yes. The one that kept meowing and stuff when we found out that you could shut it up.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, that's true. Yeah.
We found it again.
Oh boy.
I died. Does the curse live on? Yeah, I was gonna say.
The only way that sentence could end was just, I died.
It was even better because like we were playing with Torek from the community. Welcome to the nightmare hellhole that is Lethal Company. So we were all playing around. We only had a short run because most of us were exhausted. And we ended up going to Egypt just so Torek could see the nightmare level, which I love the nightmare level. We all know how much I prefer the nightmare level. We didn't get eaten by worms this time, so I don't know if it was just a particularly salty time that time that we all just got destroyed by worms.
I was gonna say, those worms seemed super aggressive.
So I think one of the things we did this time was, I don't know about anybody else, but I refused to go in the main entrance. So because we figured out where those fire exits are on the map, I just left the ship, turned around, went straight to a fire exit. It's like, I'm not walking up that hill to that main entrance where those worms are. So I'm just going to go this way instead and then see. And I don't think anybody got done in by a worm, which is great. And in the process of doing that, we got to the point where we had like, okay, everyone was like lagging out a little bit. Everyone was a little bit tired. So we're like, okay, we got like a day or 2 left in us. So we did a day. We all died. We did another day. We did terribly. And we were like, the quota was like 300. So it wasn't even a big quota. Like, okay, we're like 100 away. Let's just do this one run. If we make it, great. If we don't, we die. That's fine. Whatever. Who cares at this point?
Mm-hmm.
So we went into Egypt. I ran into the back fire exit, got a bunch of stuff, then ran out of the fire exit, made it back to the ship. A whole bunch of people made it back too. We all started dumping stuff out, and they found one of the other cats, which I don't know if we've talked about on the show before, but now there are real cats in the game for us to collect too.
Oh, okay.
And they meow very loudly and attract monsters, so you have to pet them. And then they don't meow, and instead they purr, which is
pretty great.
They are violently loud as the stupid other cat thing.
And as my favorite description is, when you pet them, it looks like you're ripcording them, because like you flip them and then stretch them and then like put them back in your chest.
Yeah.
And that credit goes to Rob for that one, for like ripcording the cats. But like I went in, and when I came back out, everybody was at the ship, and they'd found a real cat. So it was like, cool, you found a cat. And I looked at Rob and I said, hey Rob, your cat is in there, I can hear it. He's like, don't mess with me, don't play with me, don't mess with me. Like if my cat is in there. I was like, no dude, in this fire exit I can hear it. I don't know where it is, but I can hear it. So I know it's in there. By the way, there's a thumper at the door. So we've got to be very quick and careful if we're going to do this. So me and him both, like, literally, we dropped everything. We went back in, and we were, like, running around. We found stairs. We were getting chased by a thumper the entire time. And then I lose the thumper. I think it kills him. And then I go down a set of stairs, and I see... Oh, no, the thumper didn't kill him. I know what killed him. I see the cat.
Mm-hmm.
So I pick the cat up. I immediately turn its music off, because like I need to escape from this. In the meantime, Rob has run into a mine and killed himself. So I'm running around, like, taking sharp corners to try and avoid the thumper, like, getting to me. And the room where the fire exit was that I came in had an exact duplicate, a floor below it.
Oh, wild.
So I'm running away from this thumper, and I knew the room wasn't the room I came in. I knew it wasn't. And I've got this cat in my hands, and as I'm running into because it's the big television room from the mansion layout.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm running into this room, there's a mine on the floor, exactly the same thing that killed Rob, except his was on the floor above. And as I'm running towards this door, I'm just screaming to myself, please be real, please be real, please be real, please be real. As I get to the door, interact with the door, the thumpers hits me from behind, and then the door eats me.
Perfect.
I was like, come on. You couldn't have just been a real door, because that level's got like 3 fire escapes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I had to hope it was a real one, and it turns out it wasn't.
Perfect.
Yeah,
No notes.
This company is fun. You all should. When I say you all should join in, and when I post in the LFG, everyone is more than welcome.
Yeah.
It turns out it gets even more chaotic with like more than 5 people, which is good.
And don't forget, Lethal Company is only $10 or less, and it runs on pretty much everything. Any
it was on
kind
sale
of PC,
for like $7 when I picked it up. So yeah.
If you have a PC that turns on, it will probably run Lethal Company.
And like, don't worry about the mods if that scares you, because like we got Torek up and running in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, go to this, download this, enter this code, wait for it to update, problem solved, you're in. Like, it was super quick. I'm going to throw some shade here. Torek, who has never played the game, got the mods installed faster and easier than Justin, who has.
Poor Justin.
I love you, Justin. I genuinely do. But it is always hilarious trying to get you into the games. It's fantastically stupid fun every time. But yeah, the game is still horrifying in all of the best ways. It's still fun. It's still stupid. Very quick note, I played like a whole bunch of Helldivers with Rob and Pharaoh on Monday, I think it was. I played for like a good like 5-6 hours. It's one of those games where like, oh, it's 11 p.m. Well, crap.
Right. We've only been playing for 45 minutes. Nope, we haven't. Okay.
Yes. It is one of those kind of games. We made a bunch of progress. I still need so many materials to unlock so much stuff because that's the place I'm at in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But that's fine. I like my guns. I like shooting things. I hate the robots. Like,
So
it is
Well, good news, Moon and Boston. The robots don't exist anymore. We have wiped them off the galactic map.
Oh, good.
Good job.
Good.
They certainly won't come back.
That's
a done deal.
Because I've been talking on the Discord on the Helldivers one, and we all think the Illuminates are going to be coming in and taking their place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I see.
I don't know if we've talked about this before, but I love the fact that they have just like got one dude whose job it is to be like game master for that entire game.
It's really smart.
Mm-hmm.
It's a smart. It's kind of like it's an adversarial community manager is essentially what his job title should be.
Mm-hmm.
Where his job is to build the lore, to explain the stratagems. Like, it's really cool knowing that there's one dude whose job it is to get he does a vibe check of the community each week,
mm-hmm.
and then is just like, okay, so you all don't want to face robots? Okay, here is some robot missions.
Right.
Oh, you're complaining because the robots are too hard? Here is more robot missions.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, you want miniguns? Let me show you this minigun that you don't have access to. Oops, now you do.
Yeah, I think it's really smart because, like, I think there's something to be said for, like, the community is driving, there are games where the community is driving the direction of, what gets unlocked and what gets handled and whatnot. And I think that has a lot of value. But there's also something to be said of just like a healthy community having someone to like fake direct their ire towards. It's like, oh, thanks, Joel.
Mm-hmm.
He gave us automatons this week. Thanks, buddy. Like, of course, we don't condone harassment, which sadly needs to be restated again here. It's kind of funny to be like, in D&D games, it's like, okay, like the game master has it out for us, like the DM has it out for us this week. It's fun to have that on a grand scale.
I mean, I've seen community created posters that just say "In Joel We Trust."
There you go. It reminds me a lot of like Twitch Plays Pokemon, where like a lore started to build around certain units or certain names or like Pokemon that were weird or decisions that were weird. Like, it feels like this kind of fun community movement.
Have you guys fought? So, have any of you done anything with automatons this week?
I haven't played in like 2 weeks.
We faced a bunch of them on Monday, but it was all just like the usual missions.
I never came across any of the Titans, which are like the AT-ATs in this game.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah, I've seen the chicken walkers. I've not seen the big boys.
Yeah, and apparently I learned through the Discord that those are actually mobile. And on top of it basically being a fortress with turrets everywhere, it is also a fabricator on legs.
Oh, fun!
And so I haven't come across those. What I did come across were the gunships.
Oh no,
those suck.
Yeah.
It got so bad in one match that we were in that it was down to 2 of us. We were out of recruitments, so we were waiting for the timer to come down to be able to call people in. Yeah. And I was just sitting there on a timer waiting for my my tank launchers, my expendable tank launchers to come out. So that way I could try to take one of those on. And those things are stupid agile, and they just light up everything. We had probably 5 or 6 of them in the sky, and I'm hiding behind a bluff, just trying not to get noticed because they will seek you out. And when they know where you're at, everything else in the area will know where you're at.
Oh, jeez.
And playing on suicide difficulty and those things show up in a swarm, it is not a good time.
Gosh.
Yep. I also wanted to... It's not a topic we frequently talk about on this show because it's something that our stance on is perfectly clear. And if you don't like it, just don't listen. That's fine.
Yep.
Boston will endorse me saying this, I'm sure, when he...
Whatever it is, I endorse it.
But all online communities have their good and bad, especially when you get to a certain size. They have good and bad. That's happened everywhere. I love the fact that the unnamed person who will not be named, currently behind Gamergate 2.0, decided to jump into the Helldivers Discord and try and stoke up a bunch of fuel there. And it literally died on the vine because everybody gets what this game is, despite the fact that he clearly doesn't.
Right.
And I want to credit them for that, for just being like, not there for his BS, not there for any of that kind of stuff. Like,
we know that this game is like a fascism parody. So like, if you don't, then that makes you a fascist. Like, if you don't get that this is like it's a send up of fascism. Like this game is ridiculously over the top. Like, if you didn't figure it out when the game has in-game ratings of like normal people buying the armor in the game and being like, it's great for going camping. Like,
the intro cutscene is like literally the only thing you need to know that this game is a send up of that whole thing. It's Starship Troopers the game. It has been said several times. Like, it is literally there pointing fun at that whole thing. And if someone, I love the fact that someone with that toxic of a mentality jumped in and was just like, no, this, that, blah, blah, and just immediately got shut down. It's like,
it's
good.
the "Are we the baddies" picture, and it's like, yes, we are.
Yes.
Well, it's also like in our Discord when I posted about how, hey, April 14th, there's a new War Bond coming out, a premium one, and Late Elf posts in the Discord, I can't spend $40 on another game right now, and then I just post my stupid little Helldiver thing that just says, your support is needed, Helldiver.
That's right.
It's all tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
Whether he bought it or not, whatever. He's his own person. He can spend his money however he wants. But it was just like one of those dumb things where it's like, this is what that game is. It's all of us just throwing satire at each other because it's funny.
And it's also like, the game should get more credit for never getting rid of war bonds and for always giving you premium currency. You get premium currency in the game itself, not just through the war bonds, but in the game as a collectible.
Like in a mission, you just pick up premium currency. It's great.
Like, Helldivers 2, so far the only game of 2024 I've played so far, game of the year 2024.
Right. There you go.
I was like, that's the only game that I've been playing off and on because I just come in and do my dailies.
Right.
Which it's usually something simple. Every once in a while you get something that's kind of long in the tooth where it's like, I wish this was just done with. Today's
I just don't have the equipment is my problem. It's like, get 50 kills with this. It's like, I can't afford that. Get away from me.
Today's was you had to get 100 kills with an Eagle Strike. Eagle Strike kind of sucks, and if you're using it at anything bigger than a light enemy, you're not taking out anything with it. So I had to play a couple of matches today to finally get that one, but everything else, it's usually just, hey, get 20 Strider kill or kill 20 Striders or whatever. So it's usually something that within 15-30 minutes I've got it done, and I've got my 15 medals, and I'm done playing a game for the day.
That's not bad.
So I have, right now for me, I am level 46.
Nice.
I have
like 4 levels away from the cap, dude. Come on.
No. Okay.
Not anymore.
They upped the cap. The cap is now level 150.
Yep.
And it doesn't, the levels don't really mean anything in this game. I think last level 20 is like the highest one, and that gets you the Patriot, which is the mech. It allows you at level 20 to purchase the mech now, so that way you can call it in. But that's all it is. All levels get you in this game is just to get you a title, and it changes the little emblem next to your name when you're in a fight.
You know what that tells me? This game is so much more popular than they expected. If they're bumping the level cap up to 150, it's like, you did not expect people to play it this much.
The best thing about that as well is they have been keeping track of your experience even when you hit 50. So when the update went through, everyone was already bumped up to where they were at. The first day that patch went live and I went in to do my daily, my first match, I was in there with a level 98 person.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, man, I thought I played a whole lot because my time right now, according to PlayStation, is 96 hours in this game.
Mm-hmm.
But But I am done with the free war bond. I have everything in there. I am working on the first paid war bond, which I'm on the second page of that, and I've only got 3 things left to buy in there.
Nice.
And then I'll be on the final page for that one. I have
so much more to do.
Yeah.
I have the P4 Senator, which is a 6-shot revolver that has medium armor piercing damage.
Oh.
And it is really awesome.
Nice.
Not great when there's something right in your face that you need to unload on, but at a distance, like I'm one-shotting things pretty far away with this stupid. It looks like go ahead.
Have you ever completed a mission and had one person not survive the mission? Because they do this really cool thing where when you get back to the ship, the people who survived come in on the Pelican, they get that ramp up, and then the person who didn't make it onto the Pelican is just standing right on the side,
like they're off on the
clapping,
side, like
for them to arrive.
You guys did great. Good job.
We had one of the missions today that I did, my last one. We completed everything on the map. We had all the side objectives. We had all the primary objectives. We picked up like all of the unique, areas to check out. And we were waiting for pickup, and we were getting swarmed by like tons of things. And this one person was just off on their own, and we had thought that they would eventually come on over, but they never did. So then one person just jumped in the shuttle. I'm like, well, screw it. Countdown's already going. So I jump in there, and the third person jumps in. And then the other guy starts complaining, who's like way out there. He's like, why are you guys leaving? We have everything. Yeah, it's like if you pulled up the thing, we had all the common samples, all the rare samples. We had every side objective, primary objective, and point of interest completed on this map. There is nothing left to do.
We're out of stuff.
Yep.
So that and then they were super mad because they did not get to leave with us. And then one of the other people were super mad because like, now you just cost us money and experience because we're one person down.
Right.
Oh, boo-hoo. He was miles away. Deal with it.
No, he wasn't really angry. He was just throwing it in his face. It's like you were the only one that was not there.
Right.
Yeah. Helldivers 2 is great.
Yeah.
Like,
yep. 100% worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else on Helldivers for you, Nim, before I move on to my final game? So, I've been listening to Waypoint from 2020. What happened in 2020? Can anybody... Don't say the obvious. Don't say the obvious. Don't do it.
I got nothing now.
I'll go back to drinking. Yeah.
That's right.
New consoles came out.
Okay.
That was 2020, by the way, folks.
In
case you were curious about things feeling really
8 years ago.
What was a launch game on PlayStation 5 that I have never played?
I am not going to know this. God.
You wouldn't even touch this game with a 10-foot barge pole.
Okay, so it's definitely not Ratchet and Clank. I don't remember what the PS5 launch games were.
Yeah, I was saying, because I couldn't buy the stupid thing at launch. I had to wait 2-3 years later.
Yeah, it didn't exist for 2 more years. So, like...
I don't remember what they launched with, honestly.
Demon's Souls Remake came out, dude.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, Sekiro was PS4. It wasn't PS5.
Yeah, Demon's Souls Remake.
That's what you're playing?
No, dude. I
was gonna say, I got that sitting on the shelf down there.
I was about to say, I would love to play Demon's Souls Remake. I loved the first one.
But you have on the PlayStation 5 for how long and not touched it yet, Boston? That's on you.
That's because I don't have a lot of time for unpausable games at the moment.
No. Actually, pro tip: Demon's Souls has a photo mode which pauses the game, so it does technically have a pause.
All right, I like it. 2 thumbs up.
Pro tip for everybody.
So it's not Demon's Souls Remake.
It's not Demon's Souls Remake because, but listening to Patrick talk about Souls-like games made me realize that I am in the middle of a Souls-like game that I have not been playing recently because I have not had time or want or desire to because my brain is shot to hell right now. So I loaded up Lies of P again.
Oh yeah.
What does that have to do with the PS5 launch game?
They were talking about roguelike, Souls-likes, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm picking it up.
Immediately made
I'm
me want to
slowly
play a
connecting
Souls-like.
dots. I got you now.
I'm also too tired.
Them being so hyped about a Souls-like made me want to play a Souls-like, and that's when I realized I'm in the middle of playing one. So therefore, I will play one.
Yeah.
I played probably about 3-4 hours of Lies of P this week. And
Nice.
you beat the game, right?
Yep.
Was the Mad Clown as a nightmare fuel for you as it was for me? Like, was he as frustrating for you to deal with?
Yeah.
He's not even a regular boss. He's a mini boss.
He's just
a damage
he's just
sponge.
a dude.
He sucks. Yeah.
It's so bad. You get the name and the health bar busting, but it's not like a door that you pass through to get to him. He's just there in the world, surrounded by people who shoot at you and throw bombs at you.
He's just a nightmare clown.
His arms extend out, and it took me the longest time to get the parry on when he actually throws that fist at you.
Yep, because he does it randomly. It's not a solid time.
Is this in the fountain area?
It's the one by the cathedral, right in front of the right in front of the opera house.
That was the one that I sat at for a long time, and luckily there is a stargazer right behind him.
Yeah, that's what I did. I went past him, got that stargazer, and then singled him out from all of his stupid buddies who kept shooting at me.
That's when I really liked, I forgot what it was called, but the cannon Legion arm, the Falcon Eye, I think it's called.
Yes, I literally just unlocked that, and I've started using that in the place I'm at now.
That's when I started using it too.
He is so annoying. Like, he's so really annoying. I also got the Aegis Legion arm, which is the shield, which I've started using a bit more because I'm bad at parries, but I can block like a king. So I figured the Aegis works nicely for me because I can just block it, hit people in the face with a shotgun essentially, and then start doing my own damage after that. But I hated that clown. He was terrible. I beat him. I then cleared out the opera house and beat the puppet king, which was a a boss battle is going to have multiple forms when you wipe out the first form in about 4 seconds flat, and you're just like, oh, this ain't over.
And he goes,
this ain't, no way is this over. So boss of the puppet king is this giant, like, mechanical puppet that drops from the ceiling. He's like the size of, like, he's barely fits inside the opera house. He's that big. And I wiped him out so quickly. I was like, okay, what's next? And what's next is,
and then you got punished.
His chest opens like a mech, and a little dude comes out of it and then promptly stomps you into the ground.
Incredible.
It's legitimately like a one of those animes with the mech people in it.
Yeah.
It was so annoying. I did beat him eventually. I got him. I got past the next stage. I'm now on my way to the Alchemist Island, which makes me think I'm probably getting closer towards the end of the game, because that's the only real type of people I haven't dealt with yet. I beat Victor, the Eternal Champion, or whatever his name is.
Dude, that guy was bad and awesome at the same time. Yeah.
Like, he like drop kicks you, Boston. Like, he will run up to you, jump in the air, and drop kick you.
I love Souls-like boss names too. That's so good.
He's even better because, like, I love the fact that this game has got no issues wearing its influences like on its sleeve. It's like, oh hey, yeah, we're a Souls-like. Oh hey, yeah, we're based on Pinocchio. So yes, here is Pinocchio, here is Geppetto, here is all the things. Gemini or Jiminy, the cricket, is your AI companion who lives in the little thing that you carry around on you. And every time he like finds a point of interest, he does a little cricket noise, which is just chef's kiss. I love how it wears all of these influences on the sleeve. And then Victor, the champion, shows up, who has quote-unquote defeated death because of the alchemists. And dude has just got like this huge backpack on full of like liquid. and like these pumps constantly pumping this gas.
Yeah, he
like,
looks like Bane
into him,
just blue instead of
right.
green. Yeah.
And then the second you kill his first form, all of the liquid gets injected into him, and he stretches and flexes out of it like Daddy's got to go to work kind of moment.
That's great.
And then he's just Bane. Like that's literally all what he does. And the fact that he's a wrestler is just chef's kiss as well, because like Bane clearly takes his inspiration from the luchador kind of thing. I don't know. It was a good boss fight. Like I said, he's like a pro wrestler, so like seeing him like sprint at you and like jump in the air, and because he's doing an unblockable attack, he pauses in the air, it shines red, and he's got those two legs ready, and it's like, you're about to drop kick me. I don't even need to be hit by this to know that that's what you're gonna do.
It also is a very nice touch that the arena for that boss fight is basically a cage arena.
Yep.
Oh, great.
100%. It's a big old. It's basically like a big old wrestling ring, essentially, without the ropes. I like the fact that like you kill him and like he stands up again and then promptly gets killed by someone off screen, and he's like, "Oh, you're next, great." So, way to hype up the next boss. I'm probably gonna have to fight by having him kill this guy
in a bit.
Yeah.
These games are great.
Yeah, I like the fact that it does, like in that one boss fight, it does some cool things, because like the guy you've just killed gets killed by somebody else who looks like a steampunk like Silent Hill victim, because he's just like covered in cages and spikes and everything else. And then immediately he turns around and kneels as the big bad shows up, who's like the leader of the alchemists. So it establishes that hierarchy immediately for those three things, and it's really cool. Now I'm in a swamp. I hate swamps. Why do all Souls games have swamps?
At least this one's not poisonous.
There you go.
No, that was the. Was it the
Blight Town?
Was it the Opera House that had the poison basement, which was just nightmarish, or was that the arcade, like the store area? No, that was the store area that I went to.
Yeah, I think that was the arcade. Yeah, with the things dropping from the ceiling and all that. Yeah.
Yep. I don't like poison areas in these type of games. But I don't know. I'm having fun with it. Like, I'm getting back into the swing of it. Still can't parry worth a damn, but that's fine because I could dodge real well.
Nice.
There you go.
That's my go-to in these games. Is I don't parry. I block and I dodge. Like
that's why I have such an issue with Sekiro right now. Is that dodge has always been my thing. Yeah, and you can't dodge in Sekiro. It has to be a parry. And some of that crap is just so fast. Yeah.
Right.
I'll get to it one day, but man, I am sorely lacking in the parry division for Sekiro.
Right.
Oh, I'm lacking in the parry division, period. I just can't do it.
It felt a lot easier in Liza P. So.
Well, yeah. It also felt a lot easier in Jedi Fallen Order. It's not going to help me in Sekiro.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm just saying in general, like comparing it to Sekiro, it felt a lot easier, but
I don't know. Lies of P it still maintains itself as an absolutely gorgeous like game. Like, it looks beautiful. The style is incredible. And despite like I said, it wears its influences on its sleeve, but at no point does it feel derivative. It just feels. It's not like it's trying to cash in on these other things. It's just like, no, this is where we got our inspiration, and this is what we're gonna do. I don't know. It's fun to play. Like, I'm a bit sad that I haven't managed to play it sooner. I'm hoping that this is possibly a good sign of me being back on the train of playing actual games instead of just fiddling around and doing nothing. But we'll see. But yeah, that's all I've been playing.
All right, Nimp, what do you have this week?
All right, so like several weeks ago, I did play Remnant Tuesday night with Feyroor and Angela. You don't pull up any videos. This is all going to be very quick. Because Feyroor said in chat that she doesn't remember what we did, and I only remembered that for the first hour, Feyroor and I played in her game, beat a boss. Angela got on. We went into his game, beat a duo boss, and that's where we called it.
Okay.
That's all I remember. Whatever. Remnant's still a great game. I'll have better notes next time. I did play the demo for Stellar Blade. I beat the demo. I beat the boss rush. That was difficult. I pre-ordered the game. Look forward to more later.
Yep.
What else? Dragon's Dogma. Because I'm an idiot and I have certain things that I have to do in an order, it's been long enough that I restarted the game.
Mm-hmm.
I am playing as a Strider now because I found out that depending on what vocation you choose, what class you choose, it changes what you get points towards for like strength, dexterity, and all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
So like if you play as just a warrior, you get more strength, you get more health. That more points into that.
That's about it.
Yeah. As a Strider, it evenly distributes the points between warrior, the strength, the dex, and the magic. And if you play as a magic user, it's all just in the magic.
Gotcha.
So I just decided, okay, I'm going to do Strider. I am back up to the point that I was the last time I talked about this game, and this has been another one of those games where it's like, okay, I'm picking a short quest. I am doing that quest. I have completed it. Game gets turned off. I have other things to do.
Gotcha. Next time you'll pick up another quest. You'll do that one.
Yep.
Right.
I am planning now that everything in my life is getting sorted out again.
Mm-hmm.
I should have more time to actually start playing video games again.
There you
go. What else? My second to last game is I did start Disgaea 7 today.
Oh, okay.
Like literally completed chapter 1 and I'm just now on chapter 2.
Okay.
I will have more to talk about this next week because there's been a lot of notes that I have taken and I need to go back in and double check that my notes are correct because I was very tired today when I wrote them.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you want to get into like the real meat of it too.
Yeah, and there's a couple different changes that they've made that I'm really liking right now, and I want to make sure that they're doing what I think they're doing. So,
right.
And then my last game, because like I said, this is all going to be very quick for me, is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yep, been playing this too.
Yep, because my wife had been sleeping pretty much all the time now, I just buckled down and zoomed right past Boston, apparently. So I went from chapter 10 to chapter 14 and beat the game.
Yeah, I'm like right before the end, so obviously no spoilers here, but I hit a fairly lengthy like cutscene, and you know how RPGs do the like gameplay cutscene where it's like you're kind of like walking around an area and you have some dialogue, but it's really just kind of still a cutscene. I finished a really long one of those, and the game is like, all right, here's a vending machine, one of the like machines where you can spend the skill points, and a bench. And I was like, I should probably save now, because I bet whatever's coming up next is either the end of the game or another really long cutscene. And I just haven't had the time to sit down, because both you and Gibbinator from the community have both said, that ending chunk is like 90 minutes, and I just haven't had the time yet to sit down and have a dedicated 90 minutes to just finish it.
Yeah.
So.
I do have a lot of thoughts. I will not go into any of them right now. Boston and I are currently in talks of doing a spoiler cast at some point in the future, so that's when I will have my real thoughts. Yeah. However, I do have two things that I want to bring up.
Mm-hmm.
First thing is I completed the game at 67 hours.
Okay.
And it was funny because I listened to the podcast last week because I wasn't on it, so I can listen to it now. And I heard Boston say, I am towards the end of the game at 41 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I pulled up my time because I was in the middle of playing Rebirth and I was still on chapter 10 at 48 hours.
Right. I think I'm at like 45 or 47 now. Chapter 13 turned out to be way longer than I was expecting.
Yes. And I think you and I hit the same time or at the same spot in the game where we're like, no, I am not doing anything side quest related or
I just
any other
finish
thing.
This
just
thing.
The main story of this thing. Yep.
Yep.
Because Nibelheim was the last time I had to get the chocobo for that, because Nibelheim is when I found out that if you haven't unlocked a chocobo for an area, you can't fast travel in that area. And that sucks.
That's right. That's if there's any like minor and major complaint I have about this game is I didn't mind unlocking the first chocobo, and I was not crazy about unlocking the second one. And by the time I think I was in Cosmo Canyon, they're like, let's go get this chocobo. I was like, I would rather die. I don't want to do that. I'm like, I am past the point of sneaking through this field and avoiding 5 chocobos to just get this last one. It's like, I really don't want to do this anymore. Please
change it. Oh my God. They change it in Nibelheim so that you're not hiding anymore, but they don't describe very well what you're supposed to be doing. And it took me a while to finally figure it out.
Right.
And I almost didn't get it the first time, and I was going to be super mad because it is a very slow and drawn out process, and it is not great.
Yeah.
But anyway, one of the things that really pulled me back in is when you're doing stuff at the Golden Saucer for the second time, I think it is.
Yes.
And I just want to point out that Don Corneo's fat physics...
They've upgraded him, baby.
Yeah. This is... Oh boy, this is like Dead or Alive beach volleyball physics that this guy has on his gut. And nobody else in this game...
Jiggly.
Yeah, and nobody else in this game has this kind of physics.
No.
Like Tifa doesn't, Aerith doesn't, like no female. It's just him. And that is hilarious.
Yep.
And then when you're fighting his cactars, they're called Cacneos.
Yep.
And they look really cool.
Yep.
And then you've got the Donberries, which look really cool. And that's all I'm going to say about those, because I was laughing really hard when those came into play.
One of the funniest parts of this game.
Uh-huh.
How was Chapter 11, Nimp? How's that dungeon?
Yeah, you got my salty DM about that thing.
Uh-huh. That dungeon
God.
sucks, man. I'm still grumpy about that dungeon.
I don't like I even told you, it's like you had said in last week's podcast, they add like a brand new system that's only used in this dungeon, isn't used before, and they don't do anything with it after.
Yep.
And what I complained to with you about was, oh yeah, let's make it the crappiest controller design for this thing that you have to do to proceed through the dungeon. But then let's give them a second option that sucks just as bad as the first option.
Yeah, because we haven't talked about it in this game, but anytime you have to aim something or drive something or something like that, they usually give you 2 options. A lot of times it's, do you want to use the gyroscope in the controller, or do you want to use the left stick? Or the other option is, do you want to use the touchpad and kind of either draw or drag on the touchpad, or do you want to use the left stick? And it's really easy to kind of switch between those when you're doing the mini game or you're driving a vehicle or something. But this one was like, oh, here's the first way to use this. And I was like, okay, this feels fine. And oh, let me switch over to the other one. Oh, that's also bad. Okay, great, thanks, I guess.
Yeah, and it was kind of backwards. Like, to aim up, you had to slide, like you couldn't, your thumb, if you're using the touchpad, your thumb or finger, whichever you're using, had to stay on the touchpad, and you had to drag it down from the top, and that would pull it up. And then I couldn't quite tell if it just wasn't reading the touchpad correctly or not, but trying to
inverted controls are not so good now, are they?
Yeah, exactly.
No, the problem is that they're trying to, I really don't want to spoil what you're doing, but they're trying to, through the controls, replicate you pulling back a slingshot, but the thing you're doing in the game isn't a slingshot. So it doesn't make, if you were pulling back a slingshot or aiming a slingshot or a trebuchet or something, that would make a lot of sense. You're doing the opposite of whatever those mechanics are. It's so frustrating.
And it's just not precise. You have to hit an object, and you're aiming everywhere around the one thing that you need to hit, trying to get it to stick to the one thing. It sucked so bad. And the other thing was, you play that dungeon as Kate Sith for a little bit. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool, because I haven't used him as a party leader, so I haven't walked around with him in the world. And he does this cool thing by himself where he rolls into a ball, and that's how he runs.
Yeah, he moves very fast. It's very fun.
Until you get Mog, and you have to use Mog, and Mog does not move.
No.
So...
No. I haven't talked about it, but one thing I do really like about this game is there's an opportunity for every party member to either be by themselves or be the party leader. And the game is kind of always changing up your party a lot in a way that we usually don't see RPGs do a lot anymore.
Yeah.
And I kind of like it where it's like, oh, you're playing as this person now for half of this dungeon, and they kind of have their own mechanics or they have their own way of getting around. And normally it's actually pretty fun. And you get to fight as someone different. You get to traverse as someone different. I thought it was cool, except for this dungeon.
The last thing that I have to say about it is with the forced party formations, I do really like that they save what your original party formation was. And hours later, when you come back, like everyone's back together, it will reset your party formation to what it was before they force the split on you.
Your like default party selection without you having to set it. Yeah, it's really smart.
Yeah, because I ran pretty much Cloud, Aerith, and Tifa the entire game. And then it would just swap it back. So it's been fun. I have like a whole thing, like every battle, I had like a certain set of spells that I would always cast off. And that, from acquiring those spells all the way to the end of the game, that's what I used because it worked really well.
Yep.
And I never had an issue with it. So that's just that was just my crutch for the entire game.
Yep.
But I have thoughts. Like I said, in the future, we'll probably talk about it. But
yeah, I do too. I think I don't want to talk too much more about it because I haven't finished it. So like any of my complaints or any of my concerns, I can't communicate them effectively because one, I don't want to spoil, but two, I'm not done with the game yet. But I liked. I don't want to say what it is, but I liked the different approach they took to the dungeon in Chapter 13. I thought it was cool the way they did that in the original game. I liked the cool way that they kind of... it's been interesting in this game to see how they've taken either set pieces or mini games or events or whatever that happened in the original game, kind of reinterpret them. Not from like a story perspective, but like, oh, what if this dungeon was bigger and more important and had more stuff to it? Or what if this mini game functioned differently but kind of kept the spirit of the game? What would that look like? In this dungeon, I think they took, here's this cool dungeon from the original game. What if we kind of re-envisioned the core of what that meant and turned it into a much bigger thing? I thought it turned out really cool.
Yeah, especially since they have the power of the console to be able to do that.
Yeah.
It's different from the original game, but it's different in a good way.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is kind of a lot. I know we go back and forth on this. I would highly recommend playing the original game first.
I would recommend that too, yeah.
Just so that you have the original concept of what the game was.
Well, I think Square, I think you can fairly and correctly criticize Square for not respecting or representing their classics appropriately. There's so many opportunities for games to come out that haven't, or remakes or remasters, or just even like put Final Fantasy Tactics on the Switch and don't touch it. Like seemingly easy wins. But I think what they've done with Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9, with the kind of modern versions they've done of those, where it's like, you want to have infinite gil and infinite levels and 4 times battle speed and all this stuff. That stuff is really great because it's like, if you want to play Remake and Rebirth and you want to get through Final Fantasy 7, you can do that pretty quickly by just super powering your party and seeing the story stuff and getting through that stuff without having to say like, all right, let's go to the swamp and grind for a bunch so we can do this dungeon. It takes away the frustrations of the original game.
That's actually what I was going to bring up, is that they do have like the extra cheats built into the game for you to use, and will make it a lot faster. It does not make it easier to climb Wall Market when Sector 7 goes down. That's
the
stupid
worst,
rope
man.
thing. But
that swinging rope thing. Oh, man.
Oh, that gets me every time. I always have to look up a guide to remember when the proper jump time is.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's all I've been playing this last 2-3 weeks.
Yep. My final game here, real quick, is Slice and Dice. Still playing this. We just talked about it on the episode we recorded of We Roguelike It this week. I'm playing this and Balatro a lot. I'm playing Balatro on my PS5. I'm playing Slice and Dice mobile. The mobile version of Slice and Dice is really good. I have been really enjoying having this, like laying in bed and just playing some Slice and Dice at the end of the day. I beat my first easy mode run in Slice and Dice this week, so I kind of unlocked a whole bunch of extra stuff. We talked about this on We Roguelike It. I still really like how the unlocks and the achievements happen in this game, where it's a lot of, you're going to get some stuff that unlocks when you beat easy mode, you beat normal mode, you beat a classic run, you beat X, Y, and Z. You're going to get unlocks like that where you kind of see that in most roguelikes, but I like that you get unlocks for casting 200 spells, healing 500 health, winning 60 battles. Like, you're going to get, even if you're not beating runs, you're going to get unlocks along the way just by continually running the game that are going to help you get new items, new character classes, new stuff that's going to help you go through the game and play it. And I appreciate that a lot. I talked about this during a Balatro episode this week, but it applies to this too, that I kind of realized that the reason why Slice and Dice and Balatro have been clicking with me lately has been no run in either one of these games is a guaranteed win. So Moon and I were talking about, like, sometimes in Balatro you don't get to pass the boss blind of the first ante. Like, sorry man, it's just not going to happen. In, Slice and Dice, sometimes, I beat the first boss, but everything is just kind of going wrong in this run. I'm just not going to make it. Or you get a couple battles in and you're like, boy, this does not feel like a winning run. And next fight, it's like, yeah, all right, cool. Yeah, I definitely lost this one. And I like that because I feel like I like playing Vampire Survivors now because I have everything unlocked and I can just play for half an hour and win that run guaranteed. And there are a lot of roguelikes that you're going to be able to win guaranteed even kind of when you're starting the game. And that's fine, but I think what I'm really looking forward to right now is playing a game that is fair. Neither of these games hates the player, but you're still at the mercy of the dice rolls, and you're still at the mercy of the items you get, or the items that you randomly get if you kind of skip an item. And I like that. I like either lucking into this impossibly overpowered run, or the thing that I love when roguelikes do it really well is when you start seeing all the pieces come together. Like, oh, okay, I have this attack, I have this spell, and I have this hero. If I do X, Y, and Z, okay, that kind of breaks the game a little bit. You get all these cracks that you can just kind of widen, and you're like, oh, okay, now that I have enough stuff unlocked, or now that I know what enough items do, or now that I know how I kind of like to equip these character classes, now I can kind of get stronger or get luckier or get better runs as I go through. And that, getting that knowledge and being able to apply it to these games and using that to kind of break these games open, that just always feels really great. And Slice and Dice does that really well. I know you said you played this a bunch this week too, right, Moon?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just bashing my head against like the harder difficulties. Like, it feels like I've done normal mode all the way through hard. I've finished a hard mode on that.
Nice.
I keep jumping around and experimenting with different like game types to see if I'm feeling anything.
There's so many game types in this version. Holy crap.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
like,
it's great.
There's like 40 different campaign types that you can jump into. Like you feel like if you hit the thing where it says mode and it just scrolls. Like it just
it's great.
Scrolling.
In this version too, it's great because the mode thing flips out and then you can pick what looks like modes, but each one of those is a folder of modes where it's like, oh, here's just normal modes. It's just easy, normal, hard. Okay, here's some other ones. Here's 12 more modes. It's like, oh, okay, that's a lot. Great.
Yeah, it's too many.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just been, for me, it's just fun, and I still like the fact that it's one of those games that, like, when I load it, when I close it, it never interrupts what I'm listening to.
Yes. Yeah, and not a lot of games, or God, even apps nowadays really respect that. Where it's like, yeah, I'm in the middle of Austin Walker, like dropping some truth about a cool game I've never heard of. Oh, now this video.
Oh, you mean like the ones I keep putting in the hosts channel? That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those ones. Yeah, yeah. Still, I wholeheartedly recommend Slice and Dice, even if you're interested in a dice-based roguelike. You don't really need to know. This isn't like, oh, you need to know the rules of Dungeons and Dragons or anything. It's not like that. It's just, hey man, if you want to play something and you are gonna give it a shot and stick with it, because it's definitely not one of those roguelikes that you're gonna win the first run or your 5th run or your 20th run maybe. But if you feel like you stick with a cool game that plays really well on mobile, the mobile version is really, really good. And so is the Steam and itch.io version. Like these are really, really good versions, and Slice and Dice is so good. But yeah, not too much more to talk about this week because it's a lot of, I'm going to try to beat easy mode. I did that. All right. Well, normal mode's way harder. Yep. All right. Back to the grind here.
Yep. Now go do hard, which gives you those stupid curses.
Yeah.
Like, those curses. Have you seen what it goes like above that? Like,
I don't think so.
Above that, it's like, oh, you have 20 points of curse.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have to choose an amount of curses that add up to 20 points.
Oh,
so it's not one curse. It's a lot.
It's a total of curses. Oh boy. Yikes. Okay. Well, something to look forward to.
Yep.
All right. That's all I've been playing this week. Let's take a break.
Yep.
Oh, I haven't even rewound these videos. There we go. All right. Let's switch on over here. Where's my show notes? There they are. What time is it? 4 o'clock. I'd like to maybe answer Torik's question here for this week, because I think we toss out a couple of good recommendations here without taking too long. And we'll probably save Bill's question for next week.
Sounds good.
Let me just open Discord really quick, because that's where I put my suggestions.
There you go. All right. Are you guys ready for this next segment?
Yeah. Sure.
All right. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of April 8th, 2024. Botany Manor comes out. Xbox One, Series consoles, Switch, and PC. This is a Game Pass day and date game. This is a cool looking first-person adventure game where you're taking kind of ancient and forgotten seeds in this manor and using the clues in the environment and anything you can find to help these rare plants grow. On the surface, just looking at the trailer, I was like, oh, this very much looks like The Witness. It even has a very similar kind of lighting style and texture work. But the idea of taking kind of fostering these seeds, I think, seems really cool. So I might check that out. That seems like a game that's in my wheelhouse here. So that's Botany Manor. That is Game Pass day and date as well. So check that out. Next game here, Gigantic Rampage Edition, comes out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series consoles, and PC. I don't know.
I was like, why do I know that name? And then I've read your description. It's like, now I know why I know that name.
I don't know if we ever talked about Gigantic on the show, because this isn't really in our wheelhouse in general. This was a kind of hero shooter that was running between, I think it was 2013 and ended in 2018. And it had a pretty dedicated fan base, but I think the time wasn't really right for multiple hero shooters when Overwatch 1 was just so overwhelmingly popular. And they're bringing this game back in kind of an updated and sort of patched and changed version here in this Rampage edition. So a lot of people seem really, really excited about this. The community seems to still really be big fans of this game. So I'm pretty curious to see where this is going to go, because Overwatch 1 shut down and Overwatch 2 isn't really doing it. So
from my understanding, nobody likes 2.
No, so it seems like a pretty good time for maybe a really good one of these to potentially take over that spot. So that's Gigantic Rampage Edition coming out this week. Next game here is House Flipper 2. It looks like it's coming out of early access, as far as I can tell, on PS5, Series consoles, and PC. Looks like it's largely an updated version of the first one, which is you're kind of building a house, if you want, and then kind of furnishing and decorating and getting the house all set up. So if you like the design phase of Sims games and you wish that was more detailed and maybe the only thing in the game, I think House Flipper 2 might just be the thing for you. So people seem to really like these, and I feel like I would probably like these, but I'm not, as we talked about on the show before, I'm not the most creatively minded, so I'm not sure that I would be the best at designing a place. So I don't know if
something for my interior design. She loves that stuff.
Yeah.
My interior design aesthetic is, how many TVs can I put in front of these couches?
That's right. How many TVs and how big? Yeah.
I have a 108 by 58 wall. That's a big TV.
That's the good stuff.
Paint it and put up a projector.
That's right. All right, last game here this week. Let's Revolution is coming out here. PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series consoles, and Switch. Seems like this might have come out on PC a couple of months ago, but yet again, I was having a hard time figuring out whether or not this was an early access game or not. I've seen this described as a Minesweeper roguelike, kind of. You have a series of tiles that are flipped over, and you're going to kind of use the numbers that appear on the tiles to figure out where the path to exit the map is, and kind of fighting enemies and running into encounters there. Has a really cool art style to it. Kind of a fun, almost reminds me of Sable. This kind of doesn't have the same like cell shaded thing, but has that kind of heavy lines Mobius sort of influence. So Let's Revolution looks pretty cool. That's coming out this week. Game Pass games this week. No PS Plus games this week. We're in that kind of between week release area. Game Pass games. The only other one coming out this week is Shadow of the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. That's the third one. I had to look up. I played all three of those, and I had to look up which one of them this one was.
We have to do that. Yeah.
Is Shadow the second one?
Sure. Rise is the first one? Maybe?
Shush you.
Yeah. So this is Shadow of the Tomb Raider is the third one. And that's the only one I didn't finish because it was too long. I kind of got bored at some point and was just like, yeah, I think
the third one when they went super hard with the tombs and the puzzles and stuff, or was it the second?
I think that was
one?
because the first one was largely a
action,
a straight path. The second one was like a little bit of open world areas and had a couple of tombs, but the third one was like you're going in from one big open section to another big open section, and each one of those had tombs and side quests, and that was the one where you're like doing more side quests, and I'm like, man, I don't know if this is what I'm in this for. Sheesh.
Yeah.
So we do have 2 questions. We're going to skip Bill's question this week, and we'll move it over to next week because I'm running out of time here. But Torque00 asked a question here in the Discord server. Do you have any recommendations for modernish, non-violent games with basic controls?
I have a list.
I'm just going to read through my list that I posted on Discord. I responded directly to this in Discord because I would forget.
Yes, 100%.
Not so much basic controls, so probably the wild shot of the lot of them is Outer Wilds.
Yes.
That game. Kentucky Route Zero, if you're looking for something simple and make you think. Abzu / Journey. Take your pick on those
That's
two.
That's a good choice. Yep.
Slime Rancher is a cute as hell, like your base building kind of game, or town building, farm thing. It's hard to explain. 2 Point Hospital, 2 Point Campus. Very simple types of games with no violence, unless you think unplugging a light bulb from someone's head is violence. East Shade, which is the painting game that I talked about a while ago that I never got back to.
Yep.
And stealing Boston's pick of the bunch, Fez.
Yeah, if you want a cool 2D puzzle game. Yeah. I thought you were going to take A Short Hike because that was my recommendation. Because we just played that on,
if I'm honest,
on Game Club, and I was like, you don't have to manipulate the camera, and there's no fail state, which I feel like is the games I'm always looking for. Is like, you can't fail in A Short Hike, and if you need to like do something to progress, the game is just going to let you know, hey, you need X of this thing to go do that thing. And that's I love that about that game.
All right. My whole list for this. Spiritfarer. Yeah,
we had talked about Spiritfarer a little bit in Discord, and it's like if you're not looking for the game is sad. So if you're not looking from a gameplay perspective, I think it's a really good suggestion, but like go into the game knowing it's really sad. If that's not something you're looking for right now, like move on to another one.
And if they're young enough that they don't understand that, fine, whatever.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But Stardew Valley, because I'm pretty sure the only fighting you do is in the mine, and I don't remember that being a requirement.
Slimes and bats and stuff.
Yeah. Bear and Breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
It's just you building an Airbnb with a bear.
Yep.
Disney Dreamlight Valley, I don't remember combat being in that game.
I don't think there's any. It's just like fishing and mining.
Yeah, it's just resource gathering. So
yeah, that's a good point.
Unpacking, which Pharaoh also points out as well.
That's a great suggestion.
A little to the left, depending on what you're looking for. I don't know if puzzles are the thing that you want, but Power Wash Simulator.
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Followed with any of the simulator games: Lawnmower Simulator, Farm Simulator, Train Simulator, Truck Simulator, Mechanic Simulator, PC Builder Simulator, Mud Runners, which is kind of a simulator, but not really.
That's true. Yep.
Minecraft Peaceful Mode.
Right.
And then my last one, the controls can be complicated. No Man's Sky on Peaceful Mode, where you've got like the build mode where it just gives you all the resources and you don't have to worry about anything.
That's
especially I want to check that out with the new ship stuff too. I haven't touched anything with No Man's Sky since the update.
They just put out another update and they're like, hey, now space stations are actually big and they're like they're a thing. And also, you can just design your own ships. I was just like, oh, God, I can't right now. Sean, just stop it, please. Favor in chat recommends Terra Nil as well. That's a really good recommendation of like a cool puzzle game where you're healing levels. It's pretty short too. I think it's only like 5 or 6 levels or so. So it's not one of those that you're going to be playing forever. Favor also recommends Kairosoft games too. I think that's really good. The console versions of those are actually really good too. It's just, how much do I want to infect somebody with the Kairosoft bug of just like, oh, they've only
Early
made
edge,
75 games that are all good and kind of all the same, and that's really good. Yeah, those are really good lists of. Thankfully, it's way easier to find more friendly, non-violent. Like you can watch some of the like wholesome game directs, and like everything they feature are games like this. You can look for any of the cozy games that you can find on pretty much any platform. So many of them meet these requirements, and they're not. I know the dismissive dude on the internet is just like, oh, so there's just farming games. Yeah, some of them are. Also, shut up. But like a lot of them are like cool puzzle games, or they're like House Flipper 2. That's a cool, like, yeah, you just want to like do interior design on like a mansion and you have $50 billion. Yeah, cool, man. Yeah. That's great. Like, there's so many cool opportunities out there for like things that aren't first-person shooters or RTS games or another Warhammer game. You know, like I love all of those, but like these are kind of the polar opposites of those. It's so great to see. Go play Venba, actually. Now that I think about it, Venba's
you can do Horizon, Forza Horizon 5.
Yep.
It's like they don't even have to do the races. Just drive into a bunch of cactuses and stuff, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Explore,
go do all
whatever.
the barn finds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Find a mountain to jump off of as fast as you can. That's what I always do.
That's right. Yep. Yeah, those are that's a good list of really great games. So go check out all of those. We gave you a ton of really great games. And yeah, that's kind of all we've been talking about in the Discord server and the podcast questions channel too. So if you want to hear more and you can hop on Discord, hit that channel up and can get all the recommendations in there. Speaking of, everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page, since it's the end of our episode this week. Got the link to the Discord server, got the RSS feed that I fixed recently. Found out what the core issue of that was. Whoops. So now that will show you all almost soon to be 1,500 episodes in this very feed. I think in a couple of weeks, this feed will have a total of 1,500 episodes in it, which is just a wild number. You can get all that, access to all of that and more. Don't forget patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones are numbers.
We talked about all the cool stuff you can get at the top of the episode. $5 a month is a recommended tier. That is per month, not per episode or per week or anything like that. So that's, you get a lot of audio for just $5. Can't support us financially? Totally understand. Best way to support us: like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. That stuff really does help as the channel continues to grow here. Please rate us and comment on wherever you can. If you have whatever your podcatcher is, if that lets you review stuff over there, that stuff also really does help. Share on social media, tell your friends, shout it from the rooftops, wherever you can. We really appreciate your support, and we really appreciate you listening. Thank you so much. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
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 I am glad we don't have to record anything after this, because I am losing the ability to speak. I am tired.
Dude, none of us had it this episode at all.
No. Yeah. All right, Nimp. What are your titles?
All right, I'm in the D's. What on earth is Dynamite Hetty?
That's a great question.
Is this Rogue? Chiptune Screams. What are the controls? Does the curse live on? Ripcording the cat. Adversarial community manager. and Daddy's got to go to work.
All right, Moon,
like
what are
the
your
Fast
titles?
And Furious reference. I really do. I have a few. Physically here, quick fire most of these. Is this Rogue? Chiptune screens. We're all dwarves. Don't say the obvious. And adversarial community manager.
I have nothings. I need more paintings. We call them Prinnies. The Mad Clown. I hated that clown. Is this Rogue? And Chiptune screams.
I'm sorry, it's adversarial community manager.
I really don't want to do that one.
Okay.
I don't want to. We haven't talked about Gamergate 2.
You don't want to invite that into the comments.
Because so part of the reason we are against Gamergate 1 and 2, just to put that out there in case
I don't even know what the second one is about. I've just heard people bring it up.
You're doing great. Keep on that train.
It's the same. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it is a bunch of white dudes on the internet being upset about minorities and women making video games. It's the same playbook used again. The part of the reason why we haven't talked about it on the show is we support the people that are being abused by bad actors, because a lot of them are just doing their job and not doing anything wrong. But I don't. It's difficult because how much do we talk about it to say that we don't support what's happening, and how much do we not talk about it so we don't shine a light on it? It's kind of that like balancing act you have to do when covering stuff.
It's pretty much the same thing that we say all the time. We invite everyone to be here.
Mm-hmm.
The moment you show hate, you are no longer welcome here.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that would be a really great title, but
this
I think
moment in time it's rough.
Yeah, because I think so much of the incorrect rhetoric around the hate that's going on right now is
it's all about community managers.
Community managers are blah blah DEI blah blah blah. You know, there's nothing of substance there, but I think that's kind of the linchpin phrase that all of this hinges on. So normally I would love it, and it's a great title. I think unfortunately
within our community,
right, in our community, but I'm worried about it escaping our orbit and inviting people into our community that need to be managed out of it.
All right.
With haste.
So we call them Prinnies. It is.
Right. We call them Prinnies is good. I like Is This Rogue also.
What else was there? I wasn't even...
Nothings is pretty good, but I don't think that's the strongest one. Chiptune Screams is also pretty good.
Yeah.
Problem is I don't have another... I don't have like 7
one,
there's no clear silver medal here. I Hated That Clown is pretty good too.
I mean, clowns get enough hate, okay?
That's right. Don't need to pile on that.
There isn't enough clown hate in the world. Go away.
We are clearly dividing. We're painting the division lines here.
You want to talk about adversarial community managers? Let's talk about clowns.
That's right. I also like.
I'm good.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Oh, I also like Is This Rogue, just because it ties into like 2 shows at once.
I'm good with that one, or we call them Prinnies.
I think We Call Them Prinnies is pretty funny. I'd be okay with that one.
I'm morally obligated to be on board
true.
with that.
Well, we know who you are.
That's true. All right, I'll circle We Call Them Prinnies. I think that's a good one.
I am ready.
I can't even remember what that was in reference to.
You were talking about your little penguin friend, I think, on your phone?
Yeah, something. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 859 for April 8th, 2024. We call them Prinnies.
His name is Finch, and he wants me to do 5 sit-ups right now.
You see, the reason why they explode is because a soul is a very volatile thing.
I was wondering if I had to do another like fade out here, just like,
Nope.
And then in year 15,
I could keep going.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening and watching. We appreciate it, and we hope we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.